Hey guys, it's Dennis from Collider Games. This week on the show, we've got Dorian Parks. How are you doing, Dorian?
What's up, guys? I'm doing good. How are you doing, Dennis?
Good, good. Been playing a bunch of games, including Population One, which we'll talk about later, and
Yes,
probably
sir.
probably gonna be fiending to play after I post this video. And then also join us all the way from South Africa. We have Josh Bears. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I received some incredibly bad news today, but that's 2020. So
Yeah,
here I am. I'm just keep on keeping on.
yeah. Hopefully, you can be distracted for the good next hour talking
Yeah.
about one of the things that you love to do is play games. Um, all right, there's a bunch of news this week, a lot of speculative stuff here. The first one, let's talk about Ghost of Tsushima. Obviously, we had the Ghost of Tsushima Legends update that came out recently that people are loving, including myself. And now they're talking about possibly whether it's a sequel or a spin-off, but apparently there was a narrative writer job listing for Sucker Punch that they wanted them to have a desire to write stories for set in feudal Japan. So obviously this is going to be set in the Ghost of Tsushima world. I think the speculation is it going to be the actual sequel that they're working on, or are they going to do something like Uncharted Lost Legacy or Spider-Man Miles Morales, where yes, it's like a pseudo spin-off sequel type of thing. Um, is it too soon for them to be working on this, or you know, Dorian is someone who has finished it and loved it. I think it's your game of the year so far, right?
Yeah, I personally think it's too soon for them to be working on, let's say, the next game. In my opinion, like in the article it says itself, it's like it could potentially just be them working on more DLC for the Legends update. Maybe it's another story, maybe it's another chapter or something like that to them just adding on to the updating the DLC because the raid is dropping it's not even dropping until next week. So they're still dropping new content for this game that they have right now. So I think it's more going to be something focused on towards the current Ghost that we have rather than it being something that is completely although it be in the same world, completely a standalone game versus them just adding on to this because making sure that it ports over correctly to the PS5 and to correctly. So I don't think they invest that unless it be something that they can continually update.
Yeah, Josh, have you been playing Ghosts at all? Because I know you
Yeah.
recently got it. I know you played with us, the Ghost of Tsushima co-op Legends stuff. But what about the single player campaign story focused stuff? Have you gotten any further on that?
I have actually. I had to force myself, which is weird because the game is amazing, but I had to force myself to play it because I just wanted to play the Legends mode. It's all I wanted to do. But as I was playing Legend, because me and Dorian played it a few times off camera as well, just for fun, and it's one of those things where I noticed that it is useful to have played the game before the time, just in terms of like combat mechanics, so you don't forget certain things. Like, dude, when we were playing Ghost of Tsushima, I completely forgot that triangle's your heavy attack. I didn't use it
Mm-hmm.
once in that entire playthrough. And I was like, and which is mind-boggling because that's how else you're supposed to like combat the guys with the shields. So this entire week I've just been playing the single story mode because obviously each sword you unlock in Legends is tied to a different stance, and I thought that it would be important for me to take a look at the different stances, learn the different stances and their uses, etc., so forth. So yeah, I've been playing the game a lot. I'm loving it, absolutely loving it. It's hard to put it down. I share an account with my friend,
Mm-hmm.
which has become difficult since Sony changed their policies on sharing accounts. So it takes there's a 24-hour delay between when you switch
Wow.
over accounts. It's like, so if I make, we share an account, but I have to make the PlayStation the primary PS4 for that account to play the game for more than an hour. Otherwise, you get kicked out. If you haven't activated it as your primary PS4, you will get kicked out. And this is for any game, by the way. It's how they kind of stopped people from essentially using the same game twice, which is I've been guilty of. I used to buy myself Call of Duty, and then instead of having a friend buy it, we would both play off of the exact same version at the exact same time. There was a loophole for this, and they've finally fixed that loophole, which sucks, but also like it was bound to happen. So it's I feel bad for my friend because I have not been giving him the account back. I've just been playing Ghost of Tsushima. But I'm completely agreeing with Dorian on this. I think it's way too soon for any sort of sequel. I think this is 100% going to be DLC possibly, because Dorian and I don't think did we finish the co-op story missions? I think we did most
No,
of
there
them.
were three. We have three left. There's like two or three left. There's
Yeah.
9 total, but we have 2 left.
Because they're quick. Like you go through them quick, and it's like they're nice, but it's like once you've done them, you'll still play them again and again on different difficulty levels, but they're so quick and I want more. So the real question is this going to tie into, would this be more DLC for Legends, or would this be like DLC separate from Legends and more attached to the base game? Which I think both are viable options.
I assume it is a separate thing because of the way they're saying feudal Japan. Because instead of like kind of like these myths and legends, right? I mean, it's in the title Legends. It sounds like more like this is for a separate thing, whether it's a DLC, whether it's a side spin-off or a direct sequel. I would say in terms of the Legends game, not to get totally off base, but I made a video of like the 3 things I was like looking forward to in the Legends game, and the thing I was looking most forward to was the co-op story missions, and I have to say that was kind of so far been disappointing to me. I played it with Dorian last week just to boost up my character, and it just felt pretty run of the mill. And I love the regular base game. There just wasn't no emphasis, and like I just didn't feel any type of narrative that was grabbing a hold of me that I really cared about.
Do you even remember what they were about? Because me and Dorian played through 7 of them, and I can't tell you what the hell they were about. I just know we're chasing like Onibaba.
Yeah, Onibaba's only, yeah.
And going through gateways, and it was very disappointing. And like the thing that I thought I would probably play the least, which is the survival mode, is now my favorite part of it. I mean, who knows with the raids coming next week, how that will be. Maybe raids will be my new favorite thing, but so far I am enjoying the survival mode much more than the co-op story mode, which is disappointing.
I think they kind of, I don't know. I think it's an interesting place because at this, like, I do feel the story itself could have been better in terms of the co-op play, but at the same time, like when I was going into it in the first place, my mindset wasn't thinking like, all right, I need another, because I absolutely love like the Ghost of Tsushima main story, like I think it's a compelling story, good hero's journey. But going into this one, I wasn't like looking for like really any story, to be honest. I was just like, all right, I want to co-op, want to like be able to play with my friends and play online. So like I'm not like detracting from it, but I think like I don't know, that wasn't like, it's not been a big hindrance on me, because at the same time I'm also just playing survival mode. And now that I've like reached like I'm like level or key 106, like there's like this daily or like there's a weekly challenge that you can face or that you can try to do, but you have to be up level 100 or up. And
you're power level 106 already?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Damn.
Your boy's been grinding. But I mean, it's easy though. Like once you do survival mode on gold, and like especially if your team is like helping and carry you, you unlock a bunch of shit. So you just like do a couple waves of those, and then you'll power up pretty quickly. But yeah, dude, it's ridiculous. So I'm trying to hopefully figure that out. And then I know they have like another nightmare dark story mode coming down the line that's locked right now. So hopefully they'll be able to like do some more compelling stories. That I hope so in the future.
One thing's for certain, this is nothing but good news.
Yeah,
this is nothing but good news. That's for damn sure.
And I think they could do like if it's going to be like feudal Japan, I think there's like all the side quests with the 4, without spoiling anything for Josh, like all your teammates that you acquired throughout the whole story. Like there's plenty of spinoffs they could do within like the story mode. I don't want to spoil anything for Josh, but like some of the things you talked about in your video, you'd like to see in the sequel. So I think there's a plethora of options they can dive into.
Yeah, definitely. I actually made a video where I had 3 ideas of how they could make a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. If you guys want to check that out, maybe I'll try and link it. I don't know which one over here. But anyways, I think it's all good news. I mean, it was like the best-selling debut for a PS4 exclusive for a new IP. So they got a hit on their hands. I think they knew that, but I don't think they knew it was going to be that big, because I remember it being like the only thing people were talking about in the video game world for a few weeks, which, in the video game world is quite a big thing, because everyone jumps from, one moment it's like Among Us. One moment it's Phasmophobia. One moment it's, we're talking about Population One today. You know what I mean? There's always like something people are like raving about, and people have, I wouldn't say it's not just short attention spans, but just like there's so much good stuff that just people are just changing their focus from time to time. All right. This leads us to kind of a similarly related topic in The Last of Us Part 2, where the actor Derek Phillips, who plays Abby's father, I forget Abby's father's name in the game. But anyways, he posted a picture of him in a mocap suit saying back to work. And this has led people to speculate that some sort of Last of Us Part 2 DLC relating to Abby's past is coming. I mean, he has done other games before, so it could possibly be a different game. And maybe people are just kind of trying to connect the dots because that's what they want to do. Or maybe this is something. It's definitely, I think for Last of Us, first of all, there's been no indication that they ever want to do a sequel. Because it feels like they've told that story.
Story's done. It's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
So a DLC that's set in the past kind of makes sense. Though it's interesting they would focus on Abby's past just because I personally enjoyed what they did with the Abby character and how they basically made you like her. And obviously for people who didn't like the game or didn't like her character, they're still not going to like her and they're not going to get the DLC. But for someone like me who was able to empathize with her character as they forced you to take her on the journey, and that was kind of the point of the game, or at least part of the point of the game. I'm looking forward to it, but is this kind of the right move, Dorian? Is this the right move for them to do?
I can't tell you if this was the right move, but I'm like you, I'm definitely interested if it is if it's giving us a little bit of prequel, a little bit of backstory to Abby, because that was one of my complaints, and not so much complaint, but that was one of my issues with The Last of Us 2, is because although you do, by the end of the game, you do empathize with her character, you're like, all right, I see the position she was in, and you can really empathize with her character. But for me, it took so long to get to that point. But I feel like had we gotten a little bit of had there been we gotten a little bit of her story before we jumped into her adult life, I would have been able to be like, all right, I'm empathizing with her a lot more, because I think even Dave said it in his reviews, Abby and Ellie are kind of the same. We just got to see Ellie's perspective growing up from her as a kid. We just saw Abby when she was adult. We got a couple flashbacks, but we really didn't get anything, especially with her father. I think that's something that kind of made a lot of fans mad, is that her association to Joel was through an NPC character that we had no idea about until this game. So them giving us a little bit of a prequel story, kind of giving us a put together a whole package, I think would be a good idea. But at the same time, I don't know, man. Is this the right move? I don't know. I don't know, because I haven't revisited. I've done the ground mode. I've tried to do the ground mode, but I haven't had any inkling to really revisit The Last of Us.
It's a heavy game.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
It's one of my favorite games of the year. But it's It's not like Ghost of Tsushima where you run back. It's hey, it's a lot of fun. Where Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2, especially Part 2, is very heavy, depressing game.
For a second, guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
He did confirm that it was not for The Last of Us 2.
Did he? Okay.
It is. Yeah, it's for a separate game that he is not allowed to talk about. I just checked his Twitter to make sure. And
cool.
Hold on.
He must have gotten hit up about.
He did. This was literally because he posted the picture October 19th, October 21. He replies, "Hey all, this picture is not at Naughty Dog or The Last of Us related. It's for a kick-ass game that I'm not allowed to say anything else about at this time, though. Thank you all so much for the enthusiasm."
Okay. Well, that's cleared up. I did think if they were going to do it, it would be interesting choice to go back. I know, Josh, you didn't play the game yet, right?
No, it is on my list, but it's also one of those, even the original Last of Us is an amazing game, but it's also not my type of game. You know what I mean? Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption is a perfect 10 out of 10 game, not my type of game. It's one of those things where I'll play it. I like the cinematic experience, but the game can get a little too intense for me. And I like to use gaming as like a way to wind down. So one day I will get to it, but you don't have to worry about spoilers because the internet's already done that for me. Absolutely everything that you could possibly think of has been spoiled for me already.
Okay, well, based on the spoilers, I mean, without spoiling it still, like, what do you think of,
well, there was a lot of backlash, wasn't there?
A future on her character. On a future DLC, let's say like they do make a DLC for Last of Us Part 2. Where should they go? Obviously, Abby is a much more controversial character. Where do you think they should go in terms of like? I think they obviously have to do something in the past, right? It has to take place before Last of Us Part 2 happens.
I don't want them to give like the fans any kind of service in the sense of like, oh, you didn't like what we did with Abby. Here's the DLC to make you feel better, where we like do something different with the story. Like, I really think that would be the worst thing that they could do. And it's scary because maybe it's in the back of their mind going, you know what, we could release some DLC to like tighten up the story a bit in a way that will make people happier, and it's like, no, don't. Stick to your guns. You had a vision. I respect the director for that. Stick to the vision. If they do have any DLC related stuff, I think it would be cool to see like a prequel or a prologue, and having not played The Last of Us Part 2 and having played the majority of The Last of Us Part 1, I don't really remember the ending that well, but there's like that time skip in the beginning of The Last of Us Part 1. So it's like, I would love to see what happened without the time skip, like the difference between watching The Walking Dead and Fear of the Walking Dead. Like, I want to see when shit hit the fan. I don't want to see like 10 years later how everyone's living. Like, I think that would be quite interesting.
I think that would be interesting as well. I think the only like thing for me personally, I think it would make sense for them to do something like in vein with Abby's character, like just to give us spoilers or whatever, like to flesh out her dad's character more, because that is like a pivotal moment for her character. That's why she's doing all of this. And I think that would just help like establish it all more, especially if they're trying to build this, like they're trying to do a TV show about it and adapt like this whole thing. So if they're trying to adapt both of these games, I think they're just adapting to like the first game. But if they're trying to adapt this whole universe, I think it would play out better having built her character up more along the way, rather than just like plopping her into this universe or just into the second game. So give us like a between, like a Last of Us 1.5 with her or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for me, I really loved the Last of Us DLC from the first game, Left Behind. I actually thought it was very, very good. Even better than some parts of the first game. And so I would figure if they if they decide to do one for part 2, that it would be hopefully of that quality and scale. But yeah, fill in, because that one did fill in a gap, right? That filled in something about Ellie's character that they kind of hinted at, but didn't totally flesh out. And so there you had that opportunity. And maybe that's why people speculate about, obviously, the Abby character, and because he played Abby's father, that maybe that would be a good thing, but who knows? I feel like if they do it, just do it right. And if they don't feel like it's worth doing, don't do it, Yeah. It didn't sound like Neil Druckmann and that whole team would do something like that, where they'd be like, let's get some money. And, I feel like service the story.
I think they're done. I think they're good. Everybody's good for now. Take a break, rest. Yeah, the community, sure. It's we're all good at this point.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next topic. This is something I want to talk about because we're all hyped on it because we just started playing it yesterday. Population 1. We have some gameplay footage that me and Dorian, we streamed together on the channel. We also have our first impressions there. We'll kind of give a little brief impressions here. We'll also do some more streaming, and we'll also do a review probably next week. Anyways, this Population 1, I was reading a little more about it. It isn't the first Battle Royale in VR, but it's, from what everyone's saying, it's the best one. Like the other ones were kind of fell short. And this is definitely cross-platform in the sense of you can play against other people. It's available for the Rift, the Quest. It's available for Steam. And so you can play with all those different platforms. And I made a mistake in our first impressions because I was complaining about it, and I'm glad I was wrong. If you buy the Quest version, you can play the Rift version. If you buy the Rift version, I think you can play the Quest version as well.
Okay,
So,
cool.
Dorian, you should go download the Quest version because it should, if it's the same account, it should be
Yeah, it is.
free. Or not free, but you already paid for it. You get both
Right.
versions, and I can download the Rift version and play that. I just want to see what the graphics look like in there. I'll tend to stay on the Quest, but overall, if you didn't watch our first impressions video, I had a blast playing it. It was fun. I don't play a lot of battle royale games. This seems like it's Fortnite, more inspired by Fortnite than Apex Legends, but there's a little bit of Apex Legends in there. But it's fun, and the gameplay mechanics, they work, and I didn't think they'd work, and I thought I'd feel sick from it, but I really didn't. And there's a lot of cool stuff. Dorian, how'd you feel about it?
Yeah, I echo the same things you said. Absolutely love this game. Like I went into it a little nervous, like I said, because I played by myself and didn't have voice chat on. But once we jumped into a group and started like communicating and with each other, like on the map, like in the like area, I felt like we were like on the actual battle royale field. So it was pretty cool. Like I absolutely loved like every second of it. And I thought it was interesting because like you, I didn't get seasick at all. And I was like last week playing Phasmophobia, got sick just sitting here like trying to play this scary ass game, but me standing up, trying to play a battle royale game, turning, trying to shoot people and stuff like that. It was pretty impressive, and I didn't have any issues. And I thought it was interesting, like doing the climbing and stuff like that, adding all those mechanics made it just that much more fun. So I'm excited to see how this grows and if this becomes like a big thing within the VR world, because the games, like I said in my impressions video, the games are a lot shorter. They don't have like 50 people in one thing. It's about 18 to 20 people. So you get through the matches quicker. Just there's a few updates that they need to be able to do, but that comes with any game. Like there's always going to be constant updates when you're fixing something that especially like is online. So I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah,
Nice.
a few little minor
I just
gameplay
watched
things.
the trailer.
Okay.
It looked so much fun. Like
Yeah, I mean,
really,
just think about Fortnite, but in VR.
I can see why you say that because of the art style. But my question to you guys who played it is two questions right off the bat from watching the trailer. What is the climbing like? Because I could see the game has climbing involved.
Yeah.
You can climb buildings, and is it cool? How's the climbing?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, like it can get tiring after a while. Like if you're trying to like climb on everything and like yeah, because like you can use it as a technique and climb and then like jump off and then you can open your arms and like kind of fly. Like you have like those wings to fly around and get through places easier. So if you do it like that, it can get tiring, but it works fine for me. Like the only thing is like they make sure you have to have one hand open. Like you can't have your gun in the hand while you're climbing. Like you can have one hand on the wall and have a gun in your hand like shooting, but you can't have it while you're climbing. So
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I get like they're trying to be realistic about it, so like you can't complain at that point.
And the aiming, how's the aiming? I mean, Dennis, you played a lot of first-person shooter games. Half-Life Alyx. Would you say the aiming is similar to that, where it's like you just kind of have to, like, do you aim?
Yeah, you have to. I mean, look, Half-Life Alyx is at least the current point, and maybe for a long time, is the pinnacle of a first-person shooter gameplay mechanic in VR. Like, there's no other VR game that's better at. I mean, for personally, I love the story, I love the experience, I love everything about Half-Life Alyx. But purely, if you're talking about the gun mechanics, it's the best one. It's the smoothest. It makes it works the best. It's not that level, but it does give you that sense where like, it's not a first-person shooter, right? You're not just aiming towards the center of your screen. You've got to go down sight on stuff. And I tend to like assault rifles, but with the assault rifle, it's not accurate, especially from far away. Like you're shooting and like your crosshair is like super big, but it's just spreading this one area. It's just, you hit sometimes, but I like that aspect of it. I feel like I need to play it some more. The guns are pretty standard, they give you a lot of different skins, but I mean, it's MP5s, different assault rifles, different pistols.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But they give you a good variety, and then you can level up, and every level up, they give you more player skins and they give you more gun skins. So it just gives you more incentive to play.
Plans for a battle pass?
So far there isn't any. There might be in the future. But right now, I think what they need to do is, now that everyone has it, they're playing it, they need to start to fix some of the bugs or some gameplay mechanics. Like I mentioned in the video, like there's like there aren't bugs because they did them on purpose, but I just don't like them, which is if your inventory is full and you see something on the ground and pick it up, that's not ammo. Let's say in the game, bananas heal you, which is kind of cool. You peel the banana and you eat it and it heals you. But if you see a banana on the ground and you got a gun and your inventory backpack is full and pick up the banana and you think, oh, that's going to go into my backpack, right? What happens is it swaps out your gun for the banana.
Oh my God.
Which, if it's for another gun, it makes sense, right? Your inventory is full. You want to swap it, whatever gun. I don't like that. Like, as you're kind of, whether it's mid-battle or at least you're prepping for battle and just going through it. And you have to, because you have to physically reload the gun. You have to like put it in the magazine. You have to pull the chamber. Once you drop it for another item, you have to redo that again. So it's just one of those things where that's kind of annoying, and I think that's something they need to fix. I'd rather go over something and be like, inventory full, and then you can choose to like throw away something in your backpack or pick it up. So
Or like
just
have
minor stuff like
UI.
that.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll like do some UI fixes or incorporate a better UI. I was reading now, and it looks like they have at least several free updates planned. Like they're going to be busting out a bunch of free updates as you go along with different maps, different game modes, different features. They seem to be talking about adding features, so that could be a feature they add, is just probably a proper better UI. Real quick off the cusp, have you ever played Boneworks VR?
Yes, a little bit.
Do you feel like they stole the climbing from Boneworks VR for this?
No. I mean,
Okay.
because Boneworks is basically like a physics oriented game, right? It's like, this is straight up just climbing and that's it. Well, you can glide too, which is kind of fun. But Boneworks is it's like, oh, combine this with that and whatever. And the way you climb is like, it's much more physics based in Boneworks, where this is like, okay, you just do this and
you're just okay.
You're climbing up, right? It's not trying to be realistic at all,
Otherwise you'd be dying at the end of a game, like physically dying.
Yeah. So
yeah, it looks cool though. I read up here it's 18 people and it's six
squads of
teams
three.
of three. Yeah, 6 squads of 3. I think that's quite tight.
One map,
3-player squads. Yeah.
One map. The zones shrink pretty quickly. Games are pretty fast. I would say, like, I don't know, Dorian. How long do you think
you're trash?
Well, I mean, sometimes we would get to like
less
third
than 10
place.
Minutes. Less than 10 minutes.
Yeah. 10 minutes if you get to third place.
Yeah.
But there's only 6 teams.
6 teams of 3. I like it. I kind of like it.
You're right.
I like it.
People, you got a good point.
I like it. You get, the map's not that big, and you get to combat pretty quickly, and yeah, I know it's fun.
For anybody wondering, it is $30 on Oculus and Steam VR stores. And
that's why I don't think there's going to be any type of battle pass anytime soon, because unlike Apex or Fortnite,
it's not free.
Yeah, it's not free, so you are paying amount. But I will say this about the game: to me, it's one of for the Quest. Right now, Beat Saber is like, that's the system seller. That's why Oculus purchased the company that made Beat. So that's a system seller. To me, the whole Vader Immortal thing is a system seller, just because it gets the Star Wars fans in. It gives a cinematic experience. It's not a full-on game, but it gives something different that you can't do anything else or can't get anywhere else in like a console. Third is The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, even though it's on the Rift and whatnot, just being able to play on the Quest. And to me, this is the fourth one. If I would say these are like these quintessential games that you need to play on the Quest, or you would buy a Quest for. These are the four games. I mean, I love a bunch of other games on the Quest, but a lot of people, haven't heard of them. They're not really to me, like Red Matter is great. The Room VR is great, but people aren't going to buy Quest just for those games. I feel like people would buy Quest for Population 1.
Real quick, I know this wasn't a part of the breakdown, but I saw just through the grapevine, a lot of people having issues with the Quest 2 with regards to their Facebook logins and essentially getting bricks, where it's like, if you have the biggest thing I've gotten taken away from this is, if you are getting a Quest 2, you should know that comes with the factor that you have to have a Facebook account. More so than that, it cannot be a fake Facebook account. They will ask you for your identity. They will ask you for a passport or ID or something, proof of identity. A lot of people aren't comfortable giving their personal information like that to Facebook, even though Facebook probably already has it, which is a different conversation. But yeah, so even if you like decide, hey, I'm going to get an Oculus Quest 2, I'm just going to make a throwaway account. It's not going to work. No. It's like they're very anal on that. And it's unfortunate because it's like most people aren't having issues, but there's even a few people who have normal Facebook accounts and are still getting like banned from using the Quest 2 and then having their Facebook accounts completely removed. I mean, even I think it was the reason this got traction was because one of VR Chat's developers said, I got my Facebook account banned 3 times while trying to use the Quest 2 to develop like VR Chat for the Quest 2. And like, which is sad. Like, it's sad that like developers can't even use the Quest 2 because they're getting kicked out of like Facebook. So hopefully it's an issue they fix in the future. And then also it looks like PSVR 2 is definitely going to be a thing. And I think that they might be able to steal a few people away purely off of the fact that you don't need a Facebook account.
Yeah. I understand. It's pretty, it's not a good thing when you're banning people who purchase your $300 device and not being able to use it because you have to have a Facebook account, which I think, look, it's their hardware. They can do what they want, but at the same time, I think it's too restrictive. And also, I think what's happening too is people who probably have real Facebook accounts that don't use them often. Do you know what I mean? And then try and tie it to the Oculus account that they get registered as fake because they're like, oh, this guy doesn't really use this account and whatnot. And so it's not a real account or whatever. Like for me, someone who uses Facebook often, which is myself, tying it to my Oculus account, it was like, I didn't have any issues because I'm a frequent user. And I think they use some sort of algorithm to see like, does this person log in to Facebook a lot? Do they interact with people? Do they do this and that? But like you have other friends that are like, I have some college friends that are basically lurkers, which are like, they sign onto the Facebook account once every 6 months just to look around and see what's happening. They don't like anything. They don't say anything. And then that's it. And they leave. I think that type of account would get banned, even though technically it's a real it's not a fake Facebook account, but Facebook's algorithm would see that as such. But anyways, I think they need to fix it.
You can have a fake Facebook account, but that comes with the condition of you having to email a copy of your passport ID to Facebook. Just to reiterate. So if you wanted to, you can make a fake throwaway account, but then Facebook has to see your physical ID so that they can link your physical, like your actual identity to the account.
Yeah. I don't know. They need to find some way to fix it because I think it's they should allow fake accounts. Sorry, but that's what happens. Like any accounts on any website that you do, you can create a fake email, or let's say someone's said they send you a coupon code for a discount, whatever. You can send it to a fake email if you want. So.
Can I ask you guys a question as people who have lived in America for, I'm assuming, your entire lives?
Yes.
Do you guys have TV licenses? Do you guys have to pay for a TV license? So here in South Africa, if you get a TV, you have to pay for your TV license every year, kind of like your car registration.
What?
Yeah,
What?
If you
what?
And this is just for like basic. This is for broadcast television. You have to pay a yearly TV license. So no one's been paying the shit for years because of streaming. So now the SABC, the South African Broadcasting Company, they've now decided that they're going to start charging people TV licenses for Netflix.
Wait, do you have to be 16? Like, do you have to apply for what kind of bullshit? What is this?
It's weird shit, man. You got literally if you buy television, you have to have a TV license.
Like it's insurance or some shit. Like if I break it,
it's so that they know. It's so that they like know who you are and where you are and like.
Bro, what the fuck?
It's some like I don't know. It's really
that would never fly over here in America.
Hell no, it doesn't fly anywhere except like
people aren't wearing masks and dying, and people. You think they're going to pay for a TV license?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. So everyone's just going like, oh, wait, so I need a TV license for my phone, my computer, my PlayStation, like, hell no. It's like ridiculously beyond illegal, which is why the law will never go through. It's just hilarious that they even tried. Man. Anyways, not video game related. I just wanted to blow you guys' minds for a second.
That is a bit or very strange. All right, let's move on to the next topic. This one is kind of a combo thing. I don't think I sent you guys the first part of this, but anyways, Phil Spencer interview basically kind of hinted at like a streaming stick as part of Xbox Game Pass. This is something we speculated a lot, right? When we talk about Amazon's new gaming streaming service, Luna, Google Stadia, and we talked about Game Pass a lot, and we said eventually they're just going to send it to any type of device, and they don't care. Like Microsoft doesn't care if you buy an Xbox to play their games. What they care about is you subscribe to their Xbox Game Pass. That's probably why they got rid of the Xbox part of it. They just want to call it Game Pass now. So he kind of hinted that, that you'd be able to play xCloud games to your television just buying a controller, or he didn't say streaming stick, but that's kind of what he inferred. Yeah, like that's the next step. That consoles, the hardware console thing is going to be, I think, I don't know if this next generation may not be the last one, but within a few generations, I feel like it's having a console may not be the norm anymore. So
especially when Elon does his new internet thing, then literally hardware will be obsolete. Man, yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, you guys have any opinion about this? I mean, is this seems like the way to go, right?
Real quick, I'm sorry if you got something to say about this, Dorian, but it just makes sense to me. It's like a recent, I know we covered it last week, which is the fact that xCloud found a workaround to get onto the iPhone without iPhone allowing it, which is the fact that they're like, hey, just use xCloud through the web browser. They can't block Safari or Google, which is true. So if they were able to find that loophole, like, I mean, wait, isn't xCloud, you can technically get xCloud on a Samsung fridge?
Someone installed it, like someone like I wouldn't say hacker, but like someone as a joke installed it on their Samsung fridge because their Samsung fridge had a big screen that was an Android device, and so he was able to start playing xCloud on there.
Yeah,
so.
It makes sense to me. If you got a smart TV, just throw the app on there. Hell yeah, that makes sense. And then I guess, like you said, it is more an issue of like, well, not more of an issue, but I guess they would have to release a controller that's supported through the TV without using some kind of, or I guess they'd have to put a stick in, like a USB stick. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
I mean, with modern day smart TVs, I'm sure they come with Bluetooth. I'm not too sure. I can't afford one.
Dorian, what do you think?
I just agree with you guys. I think it makes perfect sense now, like moving to like these little devices to sell your games or to make it more accessible to people is the right move. If all you have to do is sell a package to somebody, like the Game Pass subscription $5.99 plus this device like $49.99 or something like that, it's basically like an Amazon Fire Stick but for Xbox. So if they can pull it off like that, I think it will be a game changer for them just to keep building up their subscription service for the Game Pass, since that's their obvious focus now.
Yeah. All right. And then this other one, this is just a side note. So we all know that Halo Infinite will not be coming on the Xbox Series X until sometime next year. So it's not going to be a launch title. However, they're saying on day one, when you buy your Xbox Series X, that the Master Chief Collection will be optimized for it. And it's going to run at 120 frames per second up to 4K. So this is like, okay, you're not going to be able to play a new Halo, but your older version of Halo is going to have significant upgrades to it. So just, and if you're a subscriber to Game Pass, like I know, Dorian, you are, it's free. You just download a new version and play it. So thought that was kind of cool.
Wait. It'll be upgraded. It'll be re-upgraded for all, like just the Xbox Series X, or for
Xbox Series X.
So okay. So it will look the same on the PC as it does now.
I assume so, because the PC is just going to ride on whatever PC hardware that is. Oh, that's right. You don't have it for the console. You just have it for the PC, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But anyways, yeah, for people who will be getting an Xbox Series X, they can run the Master Chief Collection through that. All right, let's move on to the next thing. There was a Cyberpunk 2077 teaser trailer, if you will, with Keanu Reeves in it, running Billie Eilish's Bad Guy song in it. I thought it was cool. I mean, it's not like it has any like significant footage. They're like, oh my god, I can't believe they did that. But it's kind of cool just seeing a celebrity or star like Keanu Reeves. He's not even dressed as Johnny Silverhand. He's just walking as Keanu Reeves talking about the game, even though he's in the game as somebody else.
Bro, it looked like they filmed that on like they were just like that was him during a John Wick sec. They were like, "Hey, we need to film this Cyberpunk commercial real quick. Like, hurry up, just walk down the street real quick. We'll edit around you."
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like, Josh, what'd you think?
It seemed like a two. Well, with regards to what you're saying, it seemed like a two birds one stone situation because I couldn't help but notice that the set he was on, where he was walking, was the exact same set from a previous video where they show off the collaboration between his motorcycle company and the game developer. So I think while they were there, they were like, "Hey, you want to shoot a promo?
Yeah.
While we're here, you look great today, John. Let's shoot a promo." You know, like, and he just did it in one take. It looks like he just did it in one take. He was like, "Yeah,
probably.
I'll just Keanu Reeves this shit. It'll be great."
Yeah, and also what he's talking about, the script has nothing really to do with anything specific in the game, right? It's just more of a like to hype you up. But it's like
exactly, yeah.
He could have shot that. He could have shot that like 5 years ago and been able to put that in there, and just you cut it with the footage from the game. Anyways, game looks great. Me and Dorian did a interview with Patrick Mills, who's one of the senior quest designers. We're actually going to post that video in a written article interview about it next Wednesday. But got me more hyped for it. Dorian, what were you going to say?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say that the Cyberpunk interview plus all these teasers and stuff that we're getting more and more, because although it's been on my radar for a minute now, the delay and everything pushing it back for some, and then we're just getting all these other games and content kind of been on the back burner for me. But as of recently, I'm getting definitely more and more hype for this, and that interview just solidified it. Like I'm ready to go. I'm ready to just be immersed in Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah. All right, on to the next one. We have Assassin's Creed Valhalla. They did their official post-launch trailer featuring what their post-launch DLC plan is. This kind of goes into, because I want to say something about not Assassin's Creed Valhalla necessarily, because it looks like a great game. I'm excited to play it. But just kind of like these post-launch DLC trailers in general, and it kind of segues into what you were saying before about like looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077, and we have all this good stuff, and I think Assassin's Creed Valhalla is something I am looking forward to. But with these very, very large games to me, and I used to, and I do like DLC, and I like that these companies have a plan, but it's like, damn, can't you just wait to the
can I play the game first?
Yeah, the game first. Like, you're telling me about this mission and you're going to expand this, and you have I haven't played the regular game yet. I want to see what happens in the regular game. Don't tell me about what's happening on the side. Cause I do like DLC stuff like Fallout. I remember for Fallout 3, I bought like all the DLCs, play them all. But if I remember correctly, those all kind of were announced after the game had already come out. And now we're in this world where it's like, well, after you finish the game, we're going to have this. And this is like, the game hasn't come out yet. And I'm not directing this at Assassin's Creed Valhalla because everybody's doing it. It's like, I like that they have a plan. Just say you have a plan and maybe vaguely hint at what that is. But they're like going in detail. Are you going to go here and go here? It's like, well, okay, well, that's not going to be in the game. What's in the game that we haven't played yet? So I don't know. It seems like, Dorian, you're on the same page as me.
Yeah, bro. When I was just looking at the email and I was like, post trailer launch. I was like, post, like, bro, where's the pre? Like, we haven't even got the game yet. And this is from somebody who's not that big of an Assassin's Creed fan in the first place. Like, when I was watching the trailer, I was like, yeah, this looks cool. Like, sure, but it's like, bro, the game's not out yet. Like you said, I would have rather them just say we've got something on the way. Don't just know after you finish the game, here's like a little here's a logo or something, but not going into all this details, talking about some forest and stuff. I'm like, where is this forest? Who is this forest for? Like, I don't know. I feel like if we're looking at examples of how to do it correctly in terms of how to hype your game, just recently, I mean, we're already talking about it, but Ghost, like that co-op mode, the Legends update, all of that came out of, I feel like out of nowhere. Like they didn't really talk about it, hint at it all. They just let the game speak for itself, let the story, let people play it, give it enough time, let people breathe with it. And then they were like, hey, but what? Guess what? We have more. Here's like, and then they announced it and then made us wait even longer and then dropped it finally. Here we are like a month or two later after the post announcement. So I think they should follow that sort of a route, because it seems like Valhalla already is a big game in itself. So you're just throwing more content on top of somebody. It seems a little bit overwhelming I don't know, for me personally.
Yeah.
Dude,
Josh, what are your take?
Man, there's like, there can only be one reason. Only one reason why they would show us a post trailer is if they're scared or worried that their game's not going to perform as well as what they want it to. At least for me, it's almost like a sign of weakness. It's like, why tell us about this shit? Why not hype up the game more? And the only reason I have this opinion now is because I recently just watched an hour's worth of gameplay this week. I believe a couple people were given early access to the game and they were able to play about an hour or so of gameplay. And immediately it reminded me of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is a phenomenal game, but to use Dorian's words, overwhelming. So it's too much. There's so much stuff. And I don't know, I was watching it and the gameplay, yes, the gameplay is brutal. It looks fun. It was enjoyable to watch the guy play as the female and the male and how the story switches retroactively between those two. I think that's really cool. So story-wise, gameplay-wise, it looks like I am 100% there, but I'm a little skeptical on the world building itself. The world itself, it seems a little... First of all, my first takeaway from watching an hour's worth of gameplay is that it's incredibly green, which, to be fair, around that era in England, it was incredibly green. That's just the way it was. But it's almost like there's no contrast. There's not enough contrast for me in the landscapes. I kind of almost would have preferred that they would have gone for that more Ghost of Tsushima approach, where it's it's not realistic. It's almost like a fantastic, almost like a fantasy realism kind of approach. I mean, it's accurate, and I appreciate that, but man, it needs a bit more contrast, or the people need to stand out a bit more. I am keeping in mind that this is some kind of it's also pre-alpha footage that I'm seeing that they're letting these people play. But I'm getting, at this point in time, I'm getting a little bit skeptical of the game, and I'm leaning more towards wanting to play Watch Dogs Legion and Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's it's an already big game, so it's you don't need to throw this on top of it. I mean, they said there's some stuff that is going to be free expansions, but then there's going to be stuff that I'm pretty sure you have to pay for. It's but my whole point is the game is already going to be how many hours long, right? I think minimum 30, 40, 50 hours long, maybe even longer. And then now you want to talk about some other big expansions to Cyberpunk 2077 looks great. I'm excited for it. It's right down my alley. Of course, I want a big, expansive experience, but I don't want them to be talking about any DLC right now. Because I haven't played the game yet. If you want to talk about the DLC, I don't know, give it at least 2 weeks after the game comes out, and be like, guess what? You love this game, and maybe you binge played it and you're done already. We're gonna have some more stuff coming down the pipe. I already know Cyberpunk 27 is going to be big. I know Assassin's Creed Valhalla is going to be big. I don't need to I don't know. It's almost like adding more work to the work pile.
It feels like they're covering their ass. Yeah. It feels like they're covering their ass in case something bad happens.
I said I'm not directing this at particularly Assassin's Creed Valhalla. This is happening with a bunch of other games as well, right? I'm seeing these post-launch trailers before the game comes out. So I wish game studios would stop doing that and wait till it's actually post-launch, right? Don't post-launch me until post-launch.
Because that's a lot to ask, because he, like you said, he mentioned that there's going to be four I saw in the videos, free. There's four free separate quests for if you don't want to pay, but then those three ones that are going to be actual story driven DLC story packs. Yeah, you have to pay for those. So it's you're already throwing more stuff I have to pay for, and that's to assume that I even like the game in the first place. So why would you, you're saying, all right, come in summer 2021, bro? We got to make it out of this year first. I don't even know 2020. We gotta let's finish these next 2 months first before you throw any more content at me. Like, don't plan that far ahead in the future, man. I don't know.
And from a marketing and PR standpoint, it looks bad when you're like have this DLC that I know it's not ready yet, but if you show the trailer before launch, then it looks like it's in a pretty good spot that people would be like, well, then why didn't you just include it in the game then? You know what I mean? Like if you worked on it and you throw, I mean, why don't you just throw it in the game? Like Ghost, I've been saying this, Ghost of Tsushima, I'm pretty sure Legends was something that they probably wanted in the actual launch of the game, but just didn't have the time. So they need more time to work on it. And then they released it for free so everyone can play it. And even if they cost money, it's like they didn't talk about it until after. So they could have, tricked everyone and be like, oh, no, we started working on that after the game already launched. And that's why you're paying for it or whatever. That's not what they did, but I'm just saying hypothetically. Same with this. It's like, okay, looks pretty done to me. Just throw it in the regular game then. So I don't know. It just kind of irks me, and I just don't like seeing that as a trend in gaming. So, all right, let's move on to something else. We've got a game I'm looking forward to: Star Wars: Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, which is the place that you can visit at Disneyland and Disney World. The Star Wars, basically the quote unquote Star Wars land. They had a new trailer for it. And also they announced that it's going to come out on November 19th exclusively on Oculus Quest. And Frank Oz is back to voice Yoda, who you will see in the trailer. The one thing I did notice is I think we had talked about the previous trailer before when they first announced it, and I was like, man, those graphics look too good to be just the Quest. And then later it was like exclusive on Quest. And I'm like, oh, I had to take back my criticism and saying that they were trying to fool us. Now I take back my take back of the criticism because in the beginning of this trailer it says this is in-game in-engine footage. Gameplay graphics may vary, so it's I think probably something that they're running off of. Probably I'm assuming they're using Unreal on this. So it's probably coming from their PC. So it's not like a Quest. At least I'm assuming it's not entirely accurate for the Quest or Quest 2. I hope I'm wrong again, but because it looks great, but it just looks. That was my whole thing in the first time. I was like, it looks too good to be a Quest game.
I'm colorblind. Did they change Yoda's skin color?
He looks darker.
Really darker, yeah.
I don't think you're colorblind. He looks dark.
Looks like first of all, space. Space darts? That looks fun. That caught my eye. I was like, yeah, I could play some space darts. Looks like you get to build your own droid. Maybe you're running around with C3PO and R2D2. It looks fun, and it looks like they showed off that one workshop, and it looks like they got the atmosphere right. Like it looks like it's lived in. But it feels like Star Wars with a slight goofiness added to it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it's just a slight like not Jar Jar Binks goofiness, but because that's next level goofiness.
Yeah.
But just a slight amount of goofiness sprinkled in, which I think works for Disney theme park. You know what I mean? For kids and stuff, I think it worked really well.
Dorian, what do you think of this trailer? Are you excited for this game?
I guess I'm not. I'll get it depending on the price. I'm not too.
Did you ever finish the Vader Mortar stuff?
No, I have one more chapter left, but I had a blast with that. I just haven't been too Star Wars heavy. I still have I don't want to say a bad taste in my mouth from Squadrons, but that was a lot. That was a lot. But had a fun. It's still fun. I refunded it though, but willing to give this a try. Like Josh said, it doesn't feel too heavy, doesn't feel too serious. It's not like a Jedi Fallen Order or something.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have to save the universe or some shit. We're just walking around, we're just having fun. So I'll give it a try. But am I dying hard excited for it? Am I going to be there day one when it drops November, whenever it does? I don't know.
Wait, hold up. So this is not an experience. This is an actual game.
Well, okay. So when you play, you play Vader Immortal, right?
Yeah.
I did, but no. My question is, I thought you had to go to Disneyland to play
No,
this.
no, no,
I can
no.
download it and play it at home.
Yeah, it's
Wait,
on the
bro.
Quest.
Hell yeah! I thought it
You
was
thought
like an
we're
interactive. I thought
No,
I
no,
was
no.
like, look, it's cool, but I'm not going all the way to Disneyland for this. You know what I mean?
No. This is for your Quest. Just
Okay,
like
thank
Vader
God.
Immortal was. It's same team, ILM X Lab, and what I mean by that when I asked you about the experience, because the first Vader Immortal is like it's kind of like this blend between a real game and a kind of an experience. It's not like a full-on game, but apparently this one is more game-like, where because in Vader Immortal you really don't have freedom of movement. You kind of have to go where they tell you to go. And it's kind of like this guided tour through. There's game-like elements, obviously, to it. This one, you have more freedom of movement, and so it feels more like a game. And they said it's going to be longer. I think it's $24.99, and they said it's going to be longer than all three of the Vader Immortal episodes together. Each Vader Immortal episode was only about an hour, I would say, right? Each Vader Immortal, 45 minutes to an hour.
Minutes, so, yeah. All right. If it's on the same team, and I did like Vader Immortal, so
Okay.
I'll give it a try. And if it's going to be longer than Vader Immortal, then that's promising. I'm down for that.
Yeah. So I'm excited for it. I think it's one of the bigger titles coming. We just had Population 1, like we mentioned. Tales from Galaxy's Edge is coming out soon, and then Jurassic World Aftermath. I don't know what the release date on that, but that's fairly soon. Those are like the big games coming out for this kind of holiday season. I mean, and for me, Population 1 is already lived up to my expectations, and so I'm getting high on the Quest 2. So next one we've got, this one's an interesting one. So it was reported that in the NBA 2K21 had unskippable ads in the loading screens, and there was kind of this big uproar about it. Then the 2K came out and said, "Oh no. We have these ads, but they were put in the wrong place. They weren't supposed to be part of this pre-game introduction, and that they were supposed to be part of the 2K TV segments and whatnot. And it just got put in the wrong place." I'll start off with you, Dorian. One, do you believe them? And two, like we've talked about this before. I think I talked to Josh about the UFC ads before. Like, where's this line with the advertisements going, especially when you're paying for these games? We're not talking about free-to-play games. Like, we're paying for these games. Now we got these ads, and they're talking about unskippable ads and whatnot.
No, I don't. After reading both of those, I'm not a fan of what they did. Especially like you said, if you're paying for a game, you're paying $69, like upwards of $60 to $70, depending on like what package you're getting. I'm not sitting there like trying to watch YouTube ads on my game that I pay for, especially I don't think it was on accident, especially if this was the Oculus, because NBA, the playoffs, they've been pushing the Oculus Quest too hard on all those commercials, all those advertisements. So of course they're going to put it into the NBA game. No, that wasn't on accident. Like that pissed me off. Like me just sitting there, like I get pissed off having to watch the YouTube ads. Like if this is a content creator I'm support, then I won't skip the ads. But usually, you got to skip those ads. So if that's something that you can't do,
don't skip the ads. Anyone watching this, don't skip the ads. Don't listen to Dorian.
No, I said if it's a content creator you support, then don't skip them. But yeah, like that, I don't mess with that, especially if it's a game you pay for. If you're like on Apex or something, it's free. Throw an ad in there, a couple every hour or something. I don't mind. But if you're gonna do it on a game that I've already put money into, especially for something that like has already been subliminally heavily marketed towards NBA with the Oculus, that's shady in my opinion.
Josh?
I don't know. My opinion on it is like, I think it's a fair opinion to have, which is like, I don't play a lot of sport games as much as what I used to. Like the only sport game that I would want to play is the new UFC. Because I really enjoyed
that's a
UFC
lot of fun.
3.
4 is even better.
UFC, 2, I enjoyed 2 kind of, but then 3 was like game change. It was worlds apart.
I skipped 2.
Good, because look, it was good, but it's nothing compared to what you're playing now. You know what I mean? Like the difference between 2 and 3 was tremendous. So I used to play a lot of sports games as a kid, a lot of FIFA, a lot of soccer, a lot of rugby, like a lot of just any kind of sport games. I used to love them. And I kind of added to the immersion to see ads, like, but the way you would when you actually watch sports, like like if it's UFC to see the ads on the side of the ring, you know what I mean? Like, or if it's baseball to have like the home run cam is like, it's the Budweiser cam, you know what I mean? Like, I'm okay with that if those are skippable, you know what I mean? But if you're making them unskippable, then hell no. Like, people are going to boycott your game. You've seen how like gamers can like band together and literally tear down an entire industry. They'll bomb your game on Metacritic. Your stocks are going to go down. Like, it's just not a good move. Like I said, I like the ads in the game because they add that immersion to sports games specifically. To reiterate, it will not work in any other genre because it adds to the realism in sports games. But then it's like, if you're going to do like a cutaway camera, if you're actually going to show us an ad, like I said, I'm okay with that if it's skippable. Because sometimes maybe I want to watch it. Maybe I want that little 2-3 minute break in between a game. You know what I mean? But for if you're making it unskippable, if you're not giving us a choice in the matter, that's a big no-no, man. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm with you about ads in the sense of if they're display ads that are organically, obviously they probably still paying for that placement, but feel organic. Maybe that's the right word or right phrase for it. They feel organic. Like when you watch UFC pay-per-views, you'll see their sponsors on the actual octagon mat. You know what I mean? And so if some company wants to pay to put it there, that feels organic, feels real, even if it is an ad. But I don't want to see like video ads for something. That's the thing. I don't want to see any. And like you mentioned too, especially if it's not organic, it's like if you're, played, we talk about like Assassin's Creed Valhalla and you're a Viking and all of a sudden there's like some sort of ad for Red Bull. I mean, they never do that. That's just an extreme hypothetical, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, you don't want that. What you want is like things that feel natural to it. Like, I don't mind, like, because in UFC, they'll have the replay cam being sponsored by X company, right? So if you want to have the replay cam sponsored by X company, go ahead, right? It's first of all, replay should be skippable anyways in your game if you don't want to watch a replay. And two, if they want to say brought to you by, because UFC, one of their sponsors, I think Toyo Tires. Toyo Tires presents this whatever cam, replay cam. Go ahead, doesn't bother me. Might bother other people, doesn't bother me. But when you're full on like, here's a video ad and watch this thing and you can't skip it. No, it shouldn't be anywhere in a paid game. You want to put it in a free game, that's up to you.
And even with, that's a great segue. So what I'm going to say, even with free games, we've seen a lot of advertising in Fortnite over the years, like a lot. But they've been able to get away with it because they're usually these huge in-game events that they've been working on for months, and they're usually like pretty fantastic to watch. But the past couple of ones where they've done the movies, like Tenet, for instance,
that was not good.
Like, it was a horrible event. Don't get me wrong. The movie's going to be amazing when I finally get to watch it. I got a few friends who are in it as well. I can't wait to watch it.
Did Dorian watch it? Dorian watched it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw.
Did you get to see it?
Oh, yeah.
He drove all the way to Vegas.
It looks good, man. Dude.
It's loud as hell. Wow,
I can't wait. I genuinely can't wait to watch that movie.
Yeah, I can't wait till they drop it. Yeah, sorry. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, but that being said, so it got to a point where even the fans were like, look, like, it's cool if you have these in-game Fortnite events advertising a movie or whatever, or advertising whatever you want, like Travis Scott's new album, for instance, which that wasn't what that was about. That was just Travis Scott being a freaking OG legend and just giving us a concert for free. Love him for that. But it got to a point where people were saying like, hey, look, if I just want to play a game of Fortnite and then all of a sudden I drop into a match and then all of the PvP gets removed. You can't, because usually when these go on, you can't damage other players. You can't shoot other players, which is good for the event. But if you want to play a game, it's like you just pause the game globally for everyone and they can't play it in that moment. So I think what they did is to accommodate the fans, they've moved it to a different game mode called Party Royale. So you're still going to have these huge in-game events, but I think now for whenever they do movies or like artists and stuff like that doing in-game events, it's going to be on a separate game mode, Party Royale, which is more of a casual experience. So it doesn't interrupt people who are just trying to get a game in. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to say is if you're going to have ads in your games, accommodate your players. You have to, Yeah.
Speaking of Travis Scott, he was. It was announced today that he's he's one of the strategic creative partners for PS5. So,
oh wow,
yeah, that's dope as hell. So Travis Scott making moves.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to some kind of more of like quick hits of news. These aren't like big things, just minor things. First one is AOC, the U.S. representative, Alexandria. I always can't pronounce her name.
I just call her Cortez. Good old Alexandria Cortez.
I mean, everyone calls her AOC. Anyways, I don't want to get political here, but talking about this in terms of games. Anyway, she had a Twitch stream that she did that became the third highest Twitch stream of all time, playing Among Us with a bunch of different, I think, known game streamers out there.
Fairly big streamers,
yeah. 430,000 viewers. But anyways, the reason why she mainly did it is to promote voting.
Go vote.
Get people to engage and motivate them to vote. But anyways, it's just interesting to see now that video games, much like the Animal Crossing now that we talked about Biden and Harris were using, video games are using as another avenue to, especially for younger viewers, reach to younger voters in order to get them to vote. Because remember, maybe you guys don't remember because you're younger, a lot younger than me, but back in the day, video games were basically anytime anyone in politics talked about video games, it was like a bet, like this terrible, horrible thing, the violence and the sex and the whatever. And like, they just go crazy over them. They're like, we got to stop this. It's interesting now. This is like an outreach program. I watched the highlights. There was a video that had the highlights and it looked fun. I mean, I haven't actually played Among Us. I've watched some Among Us stuff, but it looked fun.
I watched a little bit of it live. I thought it was pretty cool just to see her playing live. But the funniest thing about it though is now is like there's memes of her because she was able, like, she was playing with the box around her, so people have just been taking her video, like her reactions, and then clipping it on other stuff. Somebody like put her behind, like it was like saying like it was her on Modern Warfare or playing like Call of Duty. It was like her 1v, like 1 versus 4, like killing 4 people in a row, like, but it matched up so perfectly. Her reactions were like, oh, and then like when she gets the final kill, she's like, oh, but it matched up so perfectly. Now people are editing her behind like different video games. It's hilarious.
That's amazing. Cool. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with how well she was able to keep up with. I mean, to be fair, like she does a lot of public speaking. So I don't know why I was like, in my mind when I first of all, I saw this when it was a tweet. Just when it was a tweet, when she was like, let's go stream. One of the first people to reply was Pokimane with 6 million followers. And she was like, let's do it. To which AOC replied, she's like, I'm going to go buy some streaming equipment right now. So it's not like, so she went out and she bought the streaming equipment like that day, set it up, did the whole stream. And she held her own quite well. It's sad. A lot of the articles I was reading didn't actually mention the full list of people she was playing with. They only mentioned like the bigger people. But my favorite part was that she played with one of my favorite YouTubers called Corpse Husband, who has an incredibly heavy, dark, raspy voice. Like it's like you just want him to do like a horror movie voiceovers. He's amazing. And like you just see AOC, she's like, damn, look, this dude's voice is deep. Like she's always like impressed whenever he talks. Like she's even like, I'm too distracted. I can't focus on anything when Corpse speaks. It's a beautiful voice. It was entertaining. I was pleasantly surprised. And I think currently, like I think within a day, she got like 200,000 followers on Twitch as well.
That's power, man.
Which was crazy. Yeah. Or like it was, I think it was like 100,000 before even streaming. Yeah,
got to reach out.
If she she's got a future after politics, so like she knows
being a streamer.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Another quick thing. Fallout 76, the Steel Dawn. It's another update to it. I haven't played Fallout 76 in a while just because I've been busy playing all these other games, but looks interesting, and they're still continuing down this path of updating it. Also, the Brotherhood of Steel is one of my favorite kind of character organizations in the Fallout lore. So it was cool to see that. They had a little trailer there. This one is Microsoft Flight Simulator. They're already announced that they're going to have like a VR version of it. It was going to support the HP Reverb G2. But when they were looking through some of the file names, they saw that some of the text had the code name Scarlet in it, which was the project code name for Xbox Series X, which there has not been any type of announcement of any type of VR thing for it. So people are speculating, is there going to be a VR system coming out for the Xbox Series X or S? But it may be just something where they maybe were thinking about it and ended up not doing it, and the code just got left in there. So
I mean, with xCloud, it would be smart. It would be smart with xCloud to do their own VR system. Maybe not now, but definitely in the future to have their own or even to honestly, if they could get xCloud onto the Quest, that would be amazing. Or if xCloud can get onto various VR headsets, that would be a huge move for them.
Yeah, for sure. So that's it for me on news topics. Do you guys have any news topics you guys want to bring up, or any gaming stuff?
I got a few. Dorian, you want to go for it?
Yeah, I thought we didn't talk about the Tom Holland as a.
Nathan yes, sorry, I skipped that. Why don't you talk about
man,
that?
Damn,
bro, I think it's all right. I'm like I said, I'm not going to judge anything until I see a trailer, so I see actual footage. To me, it just looks like Peter Parker's on a field trip. It looks like, I don't know, man. That's all I see when I see this picture at first. It's there we go. Peter, he looks like at the end of, or at the beginning of Far From Home when he's fighting against the Hydro Man or whatever. He looks like he's in a school suit just fighting off or something. But I don't know, man. I think he looks like a good young Nathan Drake. I'm going to be cautiously optimistic. I'm going to just try to do my best with this and just wait till I see a trailer or some footage or something, man. But yeah, that's all I got. It made me feel a little bit better seeing Nolan North on set. I thought that was cool to see him on set. So to see him talking to Tom, I'm like, all right, well, if he's supporting it, if they're gonna make him they're gonna consult him, then I feel a little bit better about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like him. I mean, the character from the outfit, but yeah, I always thought it's weird that, and I like Tom Holland, but it's just that doing a younger Nathan Drake. So it's you have his costume from what we know of Nathan Drake from Uncharted original. That's older. So what is this? He's younger and he wears his outfit for 20 years or something. And he just has the same
Which we
outfit.
know is not true. From the games, we know that's not true. We've seen young Nathan Drake before, and he doesn't wear it.
They're just doing their own new origin story, man. See that? I don't know. I'm just like I said. I'm gonna just wait until I get some footage or I get a trailer because I got some things I want to say, but I don't want to say. So that's all.
Josh?
I mean, my first reaction is actually the opposite of Dorian's, which is that I don't see Peter Parker at all. Which is I love Spider-Man, love Tom Holland as Spider-Man, love all those movies, but as an actor can appreciate the character work he's doing just in that photo. I could be very much wrong as well. It could literally just be a photo of him staring at the catering going, yeah, we're having pizza today. I don't know what he's looking at, but it does look like he's smoldering and trying to get at least going into that role. You know what I mean? It's on his face. I can tell that it's I don't really see Peter Parker on his face, because if Peter Parker, it's always softer and this kind of anxious, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, socially awkward kind of guy, hasn't found his own yet in the Marvel universe. But with this, it seems like he's solidified himself. He's Nathan Drake. My issue is, I wonder, because obviously they're doing young Nathan Drake, but how young are they doing? Because he still looks younger than what he should be dressed as, if that makes sense. Like you said, especially with the clothing, it looks like by young Nathan Drake, they mean 25, 26-year-old Nathan Drake. But in this photo, Nathan Drake looks like 17, but just a little too built for 17.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. It looks like Peter, young Peter Parker cosplaying, he's at a Halloween trip as Nathan. He's oh, Peter Parker, Nathan Drake's my favorite character. Halloween's right around the corner. Let me dress up. I can't be Spider-Man. I dress up as Spider-Man.
Cosplay.
Let me cosplay as Nathan Drake. But that's the thing is it's just because they put this the costume of the older Drake onto it, and then you see in the when they posted the picture, all the replies had the same of a comparison, but they had Nathan Fillion, and I'm like, bro, that would have been fire. But I understand Sony trying to do not a cash grab, but you want to get a bankable star that you can have for multiple movies or whatever. So I get it. You want to have somebody that can grow.
It's existing contracts as well. Yeah, they've got existing contracts with Tom Holland. They want to use him as much as they can. They don't have to worry about conflictions or anything like that. I'm right there with you, dude. If they had Nathan Fillion, this would be amazing. 100%.
See that, I don't like we're on agreement. Like Tom Holland is a fantastic actor, and I don't want to write my boy off because we haven't seen anything. So, like I said, I hope that you can pull off a whole movie, pull off the whole story in one movie. Like they could have put Sony's like they can put this on, put it on a TV, make it a TV series. Like that would kill. I'm just gonna hold my breath. Like the whole thing that makes me upset is like they originally casted Mark Wahlberg as Nathan Drake, but he got too old by the time like now they're finally shooting. He got too old.
So now he's Sully.
So they were
now
like,
he's
right,
young Sully. We got young Nathan Drake and young Sully.
What are we doing here, bro? What do we do? Like that's not. And he got grandfathered into the role basically. That's not how you do casting. Like that's so. Like I said, we gotta wait. I'm gonna wait. We'll just wait for the trailer.
Josh.
News-wise, real quick, going back to the news about Ghost of Tsushima, I actually had a question for you guys because the feudal era lasted 400 years. It is a long era, right? So Ghost of Tsushima is like in the first 20 or 30 years of the feudal era. I could be wrong. That takes place in the first. So when they say they're looking for people to tell stories from the feudal era, it's like it could literally be 200, 300 years later. And I don't think that'll be the case because the reason the first thing I thought of when they said this is I was like, right in the last I had to like Google this to confirm it. In the last 50 years or so of the feudal era is when guns got to Japan. And they had those like, like flintlock pistols, like your single shot old school type of rifles, because that was also around the era of pirates and stuff. So most of the world had those like, flint and steel kind of weapons. I don't think that they would add guns into the game, but the reason why that was in the back of my mind is because I would love to see within this game engine and with that team, I would love to see them retelling the story of Oda Nobunaga, which is like, that's literally towards the like last 100 years of the feudal era. So it is like a whole 300-year leap. I don't think they'll do it. But in terms of when I look at the feudal era and the most important things that happened historically, besides the Mongol invasion, it's Oda Nobunaga. So I don't know. I hope that I get to see some Oda Nobunaga, but then I'm also skeptical because that's like, is there going to be guns in the game? If so, it could take away from the game. I mean, look, you're not blasting people. It's like you shoot once and you're going to have to freaking reload your gun, wait a while, shoot again. So it's like, it could still be tactical. I just don't see it fitting in with that world. But I don't know. I'm selfish because I want to see them tell the story of Oda Nobunaga.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I made the video of sequel ideas, and one of my sequel ideas was one that was going to take place right in conjunction with Jin, like just right after where the Mongol invasion gets to Japan, and there's a battle of Hokkaido Bay that I thought maybe could be something they could do. But then I had another idea where it would take place in the 15th century when ninjas were actually around, because at the time that the first game that we just played, ninjas really weren't prevalent, and so that one there was a whole thing with these Catholic peasants being I don't know what's the word for, they're being unfairly taxed and also kind of being prejudiced against. Anyways, there was like a whole thing there at Hara Castle, so it could go a lot of different places, like you mentioned with with feudal Japan, because it takes place over so many few hundred years. So
and then also I just dropped a picture in the chat if you guys want to look at it. It's one of the suits from Miles Morales, got like not really leaked, but they showed it. It looks very slick. It's an interesting choice. I'm not too bothered about whether I like it or not, because just like the previous Spider-Man game, there's probably going to be like 40 or 50 different suits, which I can't wait for that. That's going to be the coolest part. But yeah, so they announced the Crimson Cowl. So if you guys want to take a look at that, that's quite good. And then I don't know if this is big news or not, but because I'm a huge fan of Devolver Digital, I know you guys like them as well. They just bought Serious Sam developer Crow Team.
Yes.
So I don't know if that includes taking the IP with them. I'm going to assume so.
I assume so.
I assume that they're taking over the IP, which, dude, I love Devolver Digital. I used to play a lot of Serious Sam as a kid. If they bring out a Serious Sam game, it's only going to be more crazy and more wacky, and I'm all there for it. So I felt like that was worth bringing up. I don't know if this is game related or not, but I pulled it up anyways. Do you guys know what Star Wars: The High Republic is?
Yeah.
That could
Got
is
that
it,
new
I think
book or whatever.
It
Oh,
was
it's a
a
book.
whole
Okay, never
new
mind.
like book. Yeah,
It's a
it's like
series, yeah.
book, comic books.
Okay.
I don't know if they're going to venture into video games. It's basically this era that they decided they're going to explore, because you have the old Republic, you have the new Republic. Now it's the High Republic era, and they want to like investigate that with books
Yeah.
and comic books. And I don't know if video games is going to fall into that category, but it's just an era that they're wanting to kind of flesh out. So what about it?
Well,
Is launching?
they just showed like the four Padawans that's going to be in the series, and the first thing that caught my eye is that there's a freaking Wookiee Jedi. There's a Wookiee Jedi, Dennis.
Oh,
That's
nice.
awesome. I'm sorry. Like that's all I. Other than that, it's not really game related. But yeah, there's a Wookiee Jedi. Well, he's a Padawan. Sorry, he's a Wookiee Padawan. But I'm all for it. The rest of the characters look sick. I'm sure if you guys are interested in it, be sure to look it up. This is more so for me than anyone else, which is that Fortnite was just recently optimized for the PC, making the game 60 gigs smaller than what it was.
What?
While still yeah.
Damn.
So on PC. So yeah, Fortnite's latest patch makes it over 60 gigs smaller on PC.
That's crazy.
Which is amazing. So I think like currently the game now is at a total of 27 gigs, which is what it was like 2-3 years ago. It blows my mind. I actually had the full update 2 days ago, and I was like, what the hell? A 22, 23 gig update? Are they out of their mind? And then I realized that's the entire game now. And I was like, what? That's crazy. I thought like, because obviously we're going to have the World Eater Galactus show up at the end of next month sometime to come and devour Fortnite's world or whatever. I thought these were assets they were putting in early, but no, it's just straight up Fortnite. I feel like this is almost like a secret middle finger to Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like, screw your 250 gig sized game that you want to play. Our game's 27 gigs now. We're taking up even less space.
But then now the question is, how are people playing on the phone then if it's that big on the PC? Like,
I mean, well, it's super optimized for mobile already. In terms of like most of the all the shadows, textures, and stuff like that were completely
lighting all gone.
Yeah, lighting all gone. Because the mobile version is strictly playable. It looks like trash. It's strictly playable. Don't know what that means for the future of it, but yeah, I'm excited to talk about that. And then maybe you guys will like this bit of news, which is that Gears of War 5 is getting a Series X update, which comes with New Game Plus mode, and there's also a DLC coming later this year to Gears of War 5.
Cool.
And then hold up. Okay, I think that might be. Oh, I don't know if I'm kind of interested in this. Ghost. What's it? Yeah, Ghost Runner. I actually got the game on PC recently. It is really fun, really addictive, and it's coming to console. It was that like fast-paced first-person kind of like hack and slash parkour game set in like a cyberpunk world. I don't know if you guys remember it. Ghost Runner.
I vaguely remember it. Yeah, I never played it, but I vaguely remember.
I think we it only came out recently. We speculated it was going to be VR because it looked like it, but it's not. It's just a very fast-paced first-person game. Played it on the Epic Game Store. I loved it, and I think it's going to do well on console. So that's worth bringing up. And then, this is weird. Bethesda is getting sued for $100 million.
Yeah.
After allegedly doing intentional sabotage to Rune 2 to protect the Elder Scrolls series. So I don't know much about this. I don't even know anything about Rune 2, which I'm guessing is because of Bethesda. Like, I've never even heard of this game, but that's crazy. I am curious to see where that's going to go in the future. It's from ZeniMax. ZeniMax did Rune. I do know ZeniMax. They're doing Rune 2. They used the company to purchase all of Human Head's equipment and take over its leases, apparently, which is like, that is kind of very sketchy. And then the last bit of news is Xbox Brazil host. The Xbox Brazil host who got fired. It's unrelated to them getting death threats, which is interesting. It's most of this article is in like a different language, so I can't really read it. But I can't even pronounce this girl's name right. But Isadora announced her new job at Xbox Brazil in September of this year. Since then, she has been bombarded by harassment, ranging from accusations that she's a fake gamer to death threats and rape threats.
Jesus.
And she's no longer with the company, and the company has said that it has nothing to do with those threats. And I was like,
yeah, sure. Right.
Sure.
Just like
Sure.
just like Kelly Marie Tran decided to get off social media and had nothing to do with all the hateful messages she was getting. So
You know what's funny?
yeah.
She's gonna be in the Star Wars animated holiday special on Disney Plus. I guarantee you she'll have more lines in that than she will in the last one, The Rise of Skywalker. So that's gonna be funny.
Yeah,
But
actually, I want to read her statement to you guys because it's kind of sad. At the beginning of September, when I announced my new job at Xbox Brazil, I suffered harassment of all kinds, from people saying that I didn't play X or Y and that I wasn't worthy of my job, to rape and death threats and aggression for
Jeez.
exposing tense situations. Thanks to the help of my family, boyfriend, and friends, I learned well on how to deal with this, but that doesn't mean it wasn't happening anymore. Due to all these harassments, Microsoft decided that it was for the best to sever ties with me as a host, so I wouldn't be more exposed to situations like these that happened. I respect the decision made by Microsoft. My love for Xbox and Microsoft remains strong. It always has been, and thank you. I know it's an interesting situation. It's I hope that they at least gave her like a good severance, I guess. I don't know what the right term to use is here, but like to cut ties with her, to be like, look, the only way that all this harassment and stuff is going to stop is if we fire you. It's like, at least give her like a good payoff or something.
Yeah, something.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But that's all the news I got for this week. Oh, hold up. There was something else. I got to remember what it was. It was, Watch Dogs Legions. Didn't that just drop or is dropping soon? I believe
no, that's on the 29th.
Okay, well, a lot of YouTubers have access to the game right now, so there's a lot of people playing the game, doing like the first hour or two of walkthroughs and gameplays, and it looks great. I just wanted to say that, I hated Watch Dogs, and I don't use the word hate a lot, but I hated Watch Dogs. I felt like I feel like they stole my money. I'm still mad about that. Like, story-wise, it was great, but the game was boring and trash, and it put me I didn't even try Watch Dogs 2. It put me off of that, even though I've had friends say try it, it's better, it's different. Now I saw Watch Dogs Legion, and I actually watched like a good hour and a half of like gameplay, and it's fun. It looks good, man. It looks beautiful. Like, they really captured London quite well, and it's getting, at least from all the YouTubers I've seen playing it, it's positively received. I think I might be picking it up next week. I'm going to try to, at least.
Cool. All right. I think that's it for this episode. Dorian, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Dorian Parks and Rex. You can find me on Instagram at Dorian Parks, and you can find me right here at Collider Games.
And Josh?
You guys can find me on Twitch at Josh_Toki, and you guys can find me right here on the Collider Games channel.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero or Instagram, Dennis.tzng. And also, I've been saying this on Oculus. I said this in the Population 1 video. If you want to find me on Quest, you just look for my name. It's up there. Add me. Probably message me first, just to let me know that you're someone that watches Collider Games stuff, as opposed, because sometimes I just get random ads, and I have no idea if they're like people who actually want to play with me, or they're just, I don't know, trying to add to their friends list or whatever. But anyways, if you want to squat up with me and Dorian on Population 1, find us, because we're going to probably be playing some more later today. Don't forget to subscribe to youtube.com/collidergames.
And join our Discord.
Feed. Yeah, join our Discord.
Join our Discord so we can all play Among Us together.
Cool. All right. Until next time, see you guys later.